Thank you for joining More Janelle Hair. The only measurements I use to make a closure wig are circumference, front to nape, and temple to temple. For closure wigs, I only use these measurements. Now let's discuss my client's measurements. Her circumference is a 21, therefore I'm using a 21 wig block. You take your measuring tape at the 0 and pin it at the front. Take the measuring tape directly down the dotted line and pin at her measurement, which is a 14 inches. Next, remove your measuring tape. Make sure you put your pin directly back in the same hole. The next measurement that we'll transfer is the nape. You will need 2 T-pins. Her nape is a 4, therefore we're taking half of 4, which is 2. You align the 2 underneath this pin. Take a T-pin, pin at the 0, and then pin at the 4. The next measurement we transfer is the temple to temple using the same concept. Her temple to temple is a 15, half of 15 is 7.5. You take your 7.5 and you pin it directly in the middle. This will be your occipital bone. Pull the measuring tape, flat but not too tight. Put a T-pin at the 0. Do the same to the other side. We're pinning at the 15. Notice that I'm going to identify the 15, pull it down a little bit to even out the 2 pins. Remove the pin in the back and you're done transferring your client's measurements. Now, let's discuss what we have done. We've transferred the circumference. Her circumference was a 21. I'm using a 21 wig block. Please remember that your ebook includes all of my materials, recommendations, and tips to know which size wig block to grab. After transferring the circumference, we transferred the front to nape by going directly down the dotted line. Do not skip that step. That step is so important to stay symmetrical. Next, we transferred the nape by identifying half of 4, which is 2. If her nape was a 5.5, you take half of 5.5. I'm good in math, but I don't pretend to be when I'm making wigs. So you take the 0, fold it at the 5.5, and align the crease underneath the pin. You'll pin at the 0 and pin at the 5.5. The next measurement we transferred was the temple to temple. Her temple to temple was 15. Half of 15 is 7.5. You pin at the 7.5. And again, we put a pin at the 0 and a pin at the 15. After you have pinned the wig block, take your dome cap. If you are using a mesh dome cap, ensure that the V is in the middle. The regular span domes, you don't have that worried with. Take your pin and drag it directly back in the same hole. You don't have to be so perfect, just get near the hole. And you have transferred your client's measurement. The next step is to draw the guidelines. Place your frontal closure, hand sew it on, and be prepared to sew on your tracks. I'm Janelle Burgess, owner of More Janelle Hair. Thank you for purchasing my epic guide to transferring wig measurements.